2026, and I call this regularly scheduled Dunwoody City Council meeting to order. Unless there's an objection, seeing none, this meeting is called to order. Councilman Seconder, can you please lead us in the invocation and the pledge?
Please rise for those who are able. At this meeting, help us to make decisions which keep us faithful to our mission and reflect our values. Give us strength to hold to our purpose, wisdom to guide us, and a keen perception to lead us. And above all, keep us charitable as we deliberate. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chief Grogan, I'm not sorry. No, I'm going backwards in time. Chief Carlson.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, today we're going to swear in our newest officer. I'd like to call Terrence Kinslow up here to the podium. So Terrence comes to us from the New York City Police Department. He worked 2 different stints there, one from 2015 to 2017, and then once from 2018 to 2025. In between that little time period, he worked for the Raleigh Police Department. Holds an associate's degree in marketing from Nassau Community College, and he joined our team back in December 22nd of 25, and he's doing an outstanding job. So this time, Mayor, if you would like to come down and administer the oath.
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
If you'll please raise your right hand and just repeat after me. I state your name.
Terrence Kinslow,
Hereby swear or affirm that I will faithfully,
hereby swear or affirm that I will faithfully,
fairly, and without malice
fairly, and without malice,
or partiality,
partiality,
uphold the laws of the state of Georgia,
uphold the laws of the state of Georgia,
as well as any ordinances which I am authorized to enforce,
as well as any ordinances that I'm authorized to enforce,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
and support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of Georgia, so help me God.
and the Constitution of Georgia, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How about the Officer Kinslow, we are so grateful that you have chosen Dunwoody for your professional home. We know that there are lots of places you could have landed, but I believe and I know that this is the very best community, not just in the state, but probably in the country, maybe the world, to serve. Our community adores our police department. We have a great relationship, and we, as myself and city council, are here for you if you need anything. Your colleagues in the back go above and beyond on a daily basis for our city and our residents and our visitors. And so we are thrilled that you have joined our team. And of course, we are incredibly grateful to your family, because without support from your family, no public safety official can serve. And so we're grateful. We thank you. You have beautiful children. And we look forward to you're very happy and much success here. So thank you. And to your colleagues in the back, as always, much gratitude. And thank you for all you do. May we have no more winter weather or unexpected fires. this year. So thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, public comments. There are public comment cards on what I call the piano music stand in the back. Probably need to know the official name after 6 years, but I don't. And I'll call your name and you'll have 3 minutes. Just introduce yourself. Speak slowly when you introduce yourself, and then you'll have 3 minutes when you get to the podium. Rachel Kozlinski and Thomas Shanks, I think, or Shunks. I can't tell if that's an A or an O. Come on up. You'll have 3 minutes together. And I'll pull the microphone down so we can hear you. Speak into the microphone. Thank you.
Yes, hi, I'm Rachel Kozlinski. This is my husband, Thomas Shanks. We've both grown up here in Dunwoody. I'm a graduate of Dunwoody High School. We've earned multiple degrees dealing with computers at Georgia Tech, and we've been in Silicon Valley for the past decade before returning to our hometown. And I mention all of this to make the point that when we tell you we have concerns about renewing Flock Safety's contract, we're serious about this. There have been multiple concerns with vulnerabilities in their systems. The cameras themselves are running a version of Android that is several years behind anything on our smartphones. And there's plenty of YouTube videos that we can point you to explaining how serious some of this stuff is. You don't even necessarily need a password to get into the system.
Jessica. Okay, just give one. We're going to pause while they leave. Sorry. One more second. One more second. Sorry. Okay, continue. Thank you.
People have found these cameras just live streaming unfiltered and footage in public spaces like parks to the internet, where anybody could,
police stations
stations where anybody who was trying to stalk somebody or a police officer could be concerned. There's
and speaking of stalking, one such incident actually occurred in the state of Georgia, and additionally, in 2025, a Sandy Springs officer was actually charged for misusing it, and there's been no changes to tighten this down or to prevent public safety organizations in other places, including ICE, from accessing it for any reason, including to monitor protests, and interfere with people's ability to exercise freedom of speech.
It's a nice thing to say that this thing is being used against criminals, but the definition of a criminal is obviously changing a lot more rapidly with certain parts of the federal government than anybody here should feel comfortable with. And whether or not the city of Dunwoody renews this contract or not, all of that data that has been paid for by the taxpayers will remain in Flock Safety's possession and could be used by who knows whoever else. And this is,
we strongly urge you to place restrictions on it or choose another provider. Including in Dunwoody, there have been nationwide searches talking about access across lines that did not have a description of why they were occurring other than test.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ali, saw you somewhere.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
and
Thank you.
we have resources.
Thank you. Ali? Oh, there.
I'd have been there, but big dog. Thank you, City Council. I wanted to make a public comment on 3 different items that I think you guys are reviewing today for either discussion or vote, and just give you a citizen's perspective. The first one is going to be item 10, which is authorized purchase of a vehicle barricade. So I've looked into the file for, looks like the Dunwoody Police Department are making a recommendation for purchasing some type of equipment used for barricading, I guess, for vehicle. Primarily, it's crowd control. And as a citizen, I 100% I'm all on for it. I think it makes sense. Unfortunately, in today's climate, for whatever odd reason, people are using vehicles for for being deadly weapons or whatnot. And I'm not just making a comment to the ICE incident that happened like 2-3 months ago. Even before then, we're seeing more and more, for whatever odd reason, people are just angry drivers and they're just using their vehicles as battering rams. So I do think as a citizen, it would be absolutely appropriate to equip the Dunwoody Police Department with anything that they might need to be able to de-escalate and leave those situations and do whatever they need to do for crowd control in its simplest format. We don't want to keep them ill-equipped. We want to make sure they have all the right equipment. I think the deputy chief looked into this and he's the one who made the recommendation. So I'd want to say as a citizen, I think it would be the right decision to back them up and pay for something like this. Like I said, nobody wants to see anyone injured or harmed. So I'd do that. Number two is item 13, which is Brook Run artificial turf repairs. I'm also all on board for this. So as a soccer player, I can tell you, and as a referee instructor, that Brook Run has one of the best turfs in literally like the city or the state. Whenever they set that up, they did a really good job. The quality there is far superior than other turf fields, but it gets a lot of usage. So right now, I can guarantee you there are probably high school teams and other teams using it. There are tournaments on there all day long. When we play our soccer games at 7 and 8:30, even after we finish at 9:30, there'll be people jumping on that field. People will use the medium time to play on it as well. So there's a lot of usage on that field. So ongoing repairs and making sure it stays really good is very important. In fact, there's a piece of grass between the two fields, and if there's a way to turf that up to give a little bit more area for other people to kind of practice and play, that'd be ideal. But all on board, that's a good use of resources for the Brook Run Park. And then the last item looks like Chief Carlson wants to make a request for additional personnel for the I forgot what they're called, the ambassador program. That seems to have been very successful. As you are well aware, that program kind of helped alleviate some of the non-essential items for the Dunwoody Police Department, things like road closures, things that are simple tasks that unfortunately, for whatever odd reason in today's world, they just stick the police to do them. It'd be easier to use those personnel to do that. It seems to be very successful. One of my friends does it. Everyone knows Paul. He seems to love it. His ability to kind of help the community and be a good resource is something he loves. He says the rest of the team are the same way. They just absolutely love being able to assist the police department. So I think that would actually be a very good use of taxpayer funds as well. So for all three items, I'd show support. Thank you.
Thank you. Jason. You'll approach the microphone, introduce yourself, please, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Awesome. Hi, guys. Jason Hunyar. Surprise, I'm back here again. I wanted to first off say thank you for everyone who took the time to meet with me. I really appreciate it. And if I haven't met with you, I'm still would love to meet with you. I want to talk about a serious issue with Flock. ICE currently can access the location data and travel patterns of every citizen in Dunwoody. Flock will deny this. However, you could throw a football, if you had a good arm, over to Sandy Springs, where earlier last year they did thousands of searches for ICE. Sandy Springs still has access to all the data and locations of citizens in Dunwoody, migrants, protesters, everyday citizens, almost 1,800 agencies across the country. Since the last time we talked, we actually added 23 external agencies to this list. This list includes sharing drone footage with 15 external agencies. We've also started sharing video footage with Springdale, Ohio Police Department, Hinckley, Illinois Police Department, and Crowley, Texas Police Department, just to name a few. We have no idea who works there. We have no idea if the people performing the searches are actually who they say they are. We don't have any accountability over them or any oversight. This is all out of our hands. Yet every day we choose to apparently grow this risk by adding agencies to this network. Flock is not a private or not a public safety company. It's a $7.5 billion private data company that has repeatedly broken the law and crawls the dark web for information. I don't think that's who you want to partner with for public safety. Let me be clear. The terms right now that we're signing with Flock give loopholes for data to be shared with law enforcement, for federal law enforcement, for other purposes without our consent. Who decides what good faith looks like? That's solely in the hands of Flock. What does Donald Trump call ICE? A law enforcement operation. Doesn't take 2 and 2 to put together that they could use this if they wanted to. Just to sum it up, Flock has secretly given DHS a pilot of Flock earlier last year without telling any of us. They have slipped in that contractual backdoor for them to access Dunwoody citizens and our location data. And then they've also, more concerningly, change the terms of their contract. We initially, if you look at the initial contracts, the agency data included raw footage. So that's all of us going around Dunwoody. We owned that data. That has changed, which fundamentally changes the product that they are offering to us. You know the risks that they have when they own this raw data. Anyone can watch this meeting forever. It's on the public record, right? And I'd rather the next headline of the Dunwoody Crier, any news article, not say that less than a month after the shooting of Alex Preddy, we renew our contract with someone that's used to track ICE or track people who are racially being surveilled and has facilitated ICE access to our locations. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. That concludes public comment. That's all the cards I have. You will have, there'll be another session of public comment at the end of the meeting. So thank you all. Okay, so next up is a new initiative of the mayor of Dunwoody, which is in DeKalb County. We are our animal services for animals that are lost or strays or turned in by their owners, abandoned, are provided by Lifeline Animal Services. And as taxpayers in DeKalb County, we are funding this service. But more importantly, there are hundreds of animals on any given day that need a new home. And so I thought maybe I could do my small part by inviting representatives from Lifeline to come and introduce us all to one animal. And it's always going to be a dog because I don't think cats travel that well. And if they've taken in a pig or a horse, it probably won't work. But and also remind our community that these opportunities are out there to adopt. So I'm pleased to introduce Jessica Davis and Tiana with Griddles, and they're going to tell us a little bit about Griddles. Griddles is has been in the shelter. Jessica's going to tell us, and then a little bit about the work and how you can adopt a new family member. Thank you very much for being here, Jessica.
Thank you guys for having us. Like she said, my name is Jess. I live in Dunwoody. I've lived in Dunwoody since 2023. My husband is a Dunwoody police officer, so I've been in this room quite a few times. So it's really exciting that I can be here with you guys tonight. So I work for DeKalb County Animal Services, which is our local animal shelter. So like she said, it's a county-run shelter. Open intake, which means we can never say no to an animal. And it's also managed by Lifeline Animal Project, which is a nonprofit. So I'm here with my friend Tiana and our adoptable friend Griddles. Griddles is a female. She's been in DeKalb County Animal Services for 209 days, looking for a home. She is dog friendly. She's estimated to be between 3 and 4 years old. She loves giving kisses and jumping, as you can see. She has also met children and done well. Griddles is a staff favorite. We love her. We hate that she's been in the shelter for so long. But if Griddles somehow isn't the one for you, she has about 462 other doggy siblings at DeKalb that are in need of homes. And then an additional 500 dogs that we have in foster homes. So that's close to 1,000 animals, just dogs, that we have in our care, not to mention cats. We get chickens, we get goats, any animal need that you might have, we've probably had in our shelter at some point. If you can't bring a dog home, we have quite a few ways that you can help. Volunteering. We have Dog for the Day, which is exactly what it sounds. You take a dog out for a couple hours, and this greatly increases their chances of being adopted. We also have Weekend Warrior, which is a short-term foster program, just 2 nights. Again, greatly increases their chances of being adopted, as well as long-term fostering, volunteering, donating. There's lots of ways to help out, even if you're not a huge animal person. We do also have some exciting events coming up. So from, February 13th through the 15th, if you adopt an animal from our shelter, it's $14 for Valentine's Day. And then we do also have an event called Healthy Pets coming up at the end of this month, February 28th, where we offer free vet resources to members of the community. So if your animal needs vaccines, spay or neuter vouchers, basic pet accessories, we give all of that out for free to the community. We also have monthly food drives. So we really try and give to the community as much as we can to try and help keep pets with their owners. So again, thank you guys so much for having us. again, Griddles is available for adoption, as are all of her other friends. And we're so thankful to be here. Thank you for having us. And we look forward to coming back next month with another dog.
Thank you. So, the mayor of Chamblee has been doing this for a bit, and every dog that they have featured has been adopted. I'm a very competitive person, Dunwoody. Step it up, everybody. And so we look forward to sharing Griddles on our social media and finding Griddles a permanent home. So thank you very much, Jessica.
Thank you.
And thank you, Tiana, and thank you, Griddles. Appreciate it. Right. All right, Eric, you're up.
All right, thank you, Mayor. What a great program that is. So, okay, so under parks, I'm gonna start with parks for the city manager's monthly report ending February 3rd. Homecoming Park construction, solicitation for the bids went out and it's open from February 2nd through March the 2nd with an on-site pre-bid meeting on February the 13th. So that's very exciting for our new park. Looking forward to getting some prices in on that and negotiating with the final bidder. The upcoming events, the 1st through the 28th is Black History Month mural exhibit at Brook Run Skate Park. We also have our dog park Valentine's photo, very timely for what we just had here, and that's on February the 7th. And also the Georgia Arbor Day planning February 20th. In April, I just want to keep mentioning this every time until the date is Lemonade Days, April 22nd through the 26th of this year. We also had a review of the extended trail lighting options for Brook Run Park to Furnishaw Park from Georgia Power. We have a design. We're expecting a price from them shortly to put lights along that section of the trail. Also, we've been doing a lot of preventative maintenance over the winter for our parks and playgrounds, exercise equipment, elevators, and other items within the city. We have our MLK volunteers. They planted 84 trees at the Dunwoody Nature Center and 5,000 daffodils at Brook Run Park over the day of service that we have here in Dunwoody. 87 responses we received for holiday lighting survey. The feedback includes the desire for additional or expanded areas along the trail. Also, we got a lot of positives about the untraditional holiday theme of space, and also the appeal of having more attractions during the daylight hours. This goes back to our display we had for the month of December and into early January, talking about the holiday lights. So we wanted to share that comment with the public. Any other comments, we welcome those. But as y'all know, that is an expanding program, huge response from the public. So this was unique to find out what the people really think. Overwhelmingly positive. We can always expand into other areas of the park. We have the police department. The officers will participate and staff will be participating in the 2026 Special Olympics Polar Plunge that's coming up. There is a link within your report for that. We also have the February 24th, 8 to 10 a.m. We have Coffee with a Cop event to take place at Lucky Goat. That's on Dunwoody Park Plaza. And here again, just so everybody knows, that's just come and meet the police. There's no agenda. I welcome the public to come out and meet them. We have our K9 deployment. We had that, which was at 200 Transport Boulevard. Hank responded to that location, assisting the police with a task force on a package search. The dog came up with a identification of 4.34 kilos of cocaine, so quite a big apprehension there. So that was great to have the dogs help safety of our officers as well. We did have a big structure fire in an apartment complex at Dunwoody Crossing. Dunwoody police were some of the first to arrive on the scene. We heard about the call, and also the flock system helped with that to identify where the problem was. Officers were called out to help clear out the apartments early on as the flames were visible from the roof, and that building was a total loss of 8 units there. Be on the lookout for package thieves. We do have that issue. Some people dress up as Amazon drivers and come to steal the packages. and also be on the lookout for shoplifting as well. We did have an issue where somebody had shoplifting and property damage to the point of a felony, where they not only were trying to steal product, but also were ruining product within the store. So that was unfortunate that we have that going on in the community. We did have another traffic stop on 285. Somebody was trafficking heroin on the road, and here again, our police were able to stop that and bring the person into custody. Within the report is a link that goes into the crime stats. So please take a look at that. That, of course, is available online for any citizen or anybody has access to the web to look at that. Public Works, we have our Brook Run Maintenance Facility. The slab has been poured for both buildings. The warehouse building, the steel has been erected, and the work has begun on the interior walls. There's a picture of that within your report. I'm glad that building is underway. It's desperately needed to house our equipment. Also, we have the sidewalk ramps upgrades were completed on Peeler Road, Tilly Mill Road, and Winters Chapel Road, and our old Springhouse path. Most of the path has been completed there, so they've been quite busy there within Public Works. We do have a couple of meetings coming up. We have on the 12th of this week from 5 to 7, the Winters Chapel Phase 2 public meeting will be at Winters Chapel United Methodist Church. And also on March the 3rd, we have the Village Crossings Project public meeting is scheduled from 5 to 7 at Vintage Pizza. One of the other initiatives the council wanted to do was do some more street lighting on Meadow Lane. Georgia Power has installed 4 of the 8 pedestrian lights and 5 of the 15 roadway lights. So that project here again is underway. As y'all know, the city is very concerned with pedestrian safety. We want to do all the improvements we can, especially within the perimeter area and other areas of the city that need more lighting. Communications, we have the budget book that's been completed. I want to thank again Kathy Florence, working closely with the finance team to get that budget book out. There is an excerpt within your report showing that. Also, we had the 2 weather events for the past 2 weekends, not including this past weekend, but the weekends before, where we had a special website, graphics, social media posts, and videos. The city was ready for those events each time. Fortunately, they were very minor, but I did want to clue y'all into the website that's created and the work that goes in from our communication staff to keep everybody informed. We also have Google Fiber is coming to Dunwoody. We've been coordinating with Public Works and messaging on that for the citywide project. That's something we're going to all have to be patient with as they go through the neighborhoods to install the infrastructure for high-speed internet. Community development, Perimeter Mall has submitted plans to relocate the food court to the entrance adjacent to the Macy's store. The existing food court will be turned into a concourse and retail space. That food court's been there as long as I can remember, so it's going to be interesting to move that down the hall, so to speak. The department also had an open house event for the Georgetown Small Area Plan. We had about 100 residents come and share their thoughts on future developments in that neighborhood. For the 14th year in a row, the city has received the Tree City USA honor, so congratulations to the city for that. Just down the street here, we have Kimco has submitted plans for a new freestanding restaurant on the surface parking lot between J. Alexander and the Olive Garden restaurant. I'm excited to see what that's going to be. Also, the electronics recycling event will take place April 11th, and we have the household hazardous waste on September the 19th. So mark your calendars. Those are, I know, very popular for our residents to get rid of unwanted stuff, I'll call it, from that standpoint. We do have outside the ATM machine from Truist Bank was installed at the front of our lobby. That will help citizens that need to have cash for court payments. You can always use credit cards and other methods of payments, but there is a surcharge on that. This allows them to have cash from their bank and just to bring that to the payment window. So we put that there as a convenience for anyone visiting City Hall. Also, we have held today, actually, our first quarter audit report meeting. And we had our internal auditor come to the meeting. He did a great job explaining to the committee what his tasks have been in the past and what his new task will be in the future for internal audit purposes. Everything from gas cards to credit cards to any other type of items. And one thing he really focused on today were risk, I'll call them, and other ways we can lower our exposure to any kind of risk that are out there. And that works hand in hand with our new risk manager as well to keep all those things safe. And the finance department does an excellent job on working with the auditors, both internal and external. There are several things within the department items. I'm not going to read each one of those, but several notice to proceeds and other items that we are working on within that department. The final thing I'm going to mention today, after I mentioned court, court, of course, meets here in this room. They disposed of 655 cases during the quarter and reset 16 cases. So very efficient getting cases moved through that, through our courtroom. Final piece is the city filled the following positions: prisoner transport officer, public safety ambassador, and purchasing coordinator for the city. And also today we did have one more filled, which was a new person in human resources, which will help them as well. So that's been filled as well. You'll see an email on that that came out today. So that's what I have for the report. I'm glad to answer any questions y'all may have.
Questions? Anybody? Stacy?
Just a couple of three different things. First up, Rachel, the adaptive soccer with Unique Individual Ranch. Can you explain a little bit more like what he does, when, where, like what? I mean, I think it's really cool we have the program, so.
Yeah, talk about for the grant we received.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we started partnering with them last year. They've really helped us expand our adaptive programming. So adaptive soccer, he does what we call the Peach Field over at Brook Run, which is behind the community garden. Kind of like if you're at the amphitheater to the right, kind of on the hill. So that's where soccer will be. So most of the funding will go towards expanding that program. Like I said, 20 families will benefit from that, which then helps them offer more like adaptive movie nights and parents night out and things like that. But they've been a great partner, and we're thrilled to be able to help them out.
So what does his adaptive soccer program look like? I mean, ages, like, is it a buddy system or like just?
Yeah, buddy system's a good way to explain it. They go up to ages 18. So it really depends on, so when you register for their program, there's a questionnaire that goes out to the family about what sort of needs or maybe assistance you would need for the program. And then he works with the individual and his staff to kind of pair up. So it's like a buddy system. So they have exactly what they need to run the program.
And this is at no cost for the participants now, correct?
Correct. This will cover the cost for 20 families. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Sure.
My next question is about the apartment fire. And in the report from the police, it said there were some issues with the water pressure. Are we?
And they may come up, but no, we did have an issue with that.
I mean, that sounds a little worrisome.
Right. And after we did have an after meeting with the county, and they're looking into it in more detail of why the water pressure was deficient in that area. It's bizarre to me why it doesn't work within the complex. And so we had a problem there, I think about 5 years ago as well. And so I know Chief has it as a top priority of his, and also working with Richard McLeod, his department, the building official, to find out, where's the deficiency? Is there a problem with the valve? Is it water pressure that's low coming in from the pumps? They had to run additional hose, which, as y'all know, delays more time. I think it was about 15 degrees that night. So the water's freezing there. We had to send Public Works over there to help put down salt and different things. But all that adds to the stress of the fire for the residents that are in there. And of course, that, like I said, that building was a total loss. We still don't know the exact cause of the fire. I know it was a little bit windy that night, which increased the flames as well. So those are some of the issues. And I don't know, Chief, if you have anything else to add.
I don't. It was a similar issue for some reason that the pressure out front. And so about 5 years ago, we had one that was all the way in the back. It just creates more of an issue, especially for people ingress and egress out of there, especially the residents. Even our staff gets trapped. The mayor got trapped there as well. So it causes an issue. So no, I mean, it's internally, don't know if it's pipes going down to small ones. I have no idea, but aware of the issue.
I guess, Eric, I would like to know that you all have found the source of the problem, and that, I mean, to read that and that it was so delayed because of water pressure, let's make sure that doesn't.
I've been in communication with the DeKalb chiefs.
Okay.
And the CEO, and I'm going to stay on it. The question is well, first of all, there's the issue of the temperature that, at the end of and the last one 5 years ago was also in the dead of winter as well. but it doesn't matter because fires can happen any time of the year um, and so I have sent emails and I'm asking for meetings and a report and they're on it. Then it becomes how we get it fixed is the next challenge, how we make the responsible parties fix it. So,
Okay,
but go ahead.
I have another question. This one's for Richard. The food court at the mall, can you just kind of like, since they've submitted the plans, like I'm trying to picture that it's the blank entrance by Macy's, the one that a deer walked into.
You remember that? Okay.
Yeah, it's
Uh-huh.
the back entrance, right next to the parking deck.
Oh,
So-
okay, so they're going, so they're staying on that level, just bumping out that way. Gotcha.
Wait, where is it?
It's right next to Macy's on that ground level on the rear parking lot, entrance.
So it's not in the hallway in front of Macy's? It's gonna be like an addition to they're repurposing outdoor space?
No, well, they are doing some spaces outdoors, but it's mainly indoors. The shops are going
I'll
out
just
of
see a
business
picture.
right there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So,
So it's on the same, it's on the lower level.
Right.
It's on the lower level where the food court is now, and they're just, okay.
that's correct.
So it's not the Ashford Dunwoody side, it's the rear parking lot side. Gotcha. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Rachel or Richard, Plato, I have one more question. So I'm doing this in order of how it was it's the notice to proceed for the sport court work at Peachtree Middle. What are we doing?
It's coming.
Notice to proceed issued for sport court work, crack and asphalt removal for Peachtree Middle.
I will have to get back to you on that.
Oh,
Yeah, sure.
okay.
Oh, did Rachel? Oh, here comes Rachel.
The notice to proceed for which one?
Sport court work, crack fill and asphalt removal and replacement services for Peachtree Middle School.
Yes, for this is the track repair. There's a bunch of like where weeds are growing up, where we're gonna fill in what we can for the cracks and then put a sealant on it. I think is the one that, yeah.
Oh, that's all. I just wanted to know. Thank you.
John, do you have anything?
Yeah, I'll jump in. Thank you, Stacy, for talking.
Can you talk a tiny bit louder? Sorry.
I'm trying. I'm talking about the fire hydrant issue at the apartment complex. Many years ago, we had an audit that was done, and it's done on a regular basis by DeKalb Fire, making sure that they test all the fire hydrants throughout the city. That needs to be done on a regular basis, and I'd like to know when DeKalb County did that last and provide us a report as to when they last tested fire hydrants in the entire city of Dunwoody.
Okay, we'll get that.
Thank you.
They were ironically, or maybe not, out testing fire hydrants a couple days ago. Joe?
Hey, Eric. First off, hats off to the communications department, especially the advertising for the Winners Chapel open house, bilingual flyers, yard signs are up along the corridor. It's great outreach for that. Thank you. Regarding the Tilly Mill upcoming project, the notice to, you're going to start the RFP or go out for construction on Tilly Mill Mount Vernon intersection. And I'd like to know expressly, now we don't have insight to the RFP and what's in that, but what kind of mitigation we're going to do, how we're going to do things differently than we did on Georgetown and Chamblee Dunwoody regarding construction disruption during the rush hour. What is the plan and what are we going to do differently? Do we have that addressed proactively in advance?
I know that Michael Smith and his department have been working on some stuff. He's gonna come up and explain it in more detail.
Well, as you know, with any project, there's going to be some traffic disruptions. There are gonna be times where they have to close a lane and take it down to one lane of traffic. That will be limited to between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. on weekdays. And then, so basically they're not allowed to close a lane during rush hour. The other thing is because of the amount of water main that DeKalb is going to, they're going to put in 2 water mains that we've set it up to where the contractor will have to build a temporary shoulder. And so while they're working on the water lines on the south side of the road, there will be a temporary lane on the north side so that you can maintain 2 lanes of traffic through there for a longer period of the construction than you would. I mean, if we didn't do that, there would be 1 lane of traffic every day for months and months. So that's part of the bid documents, is to provide that temporary lane.
Mhm. Okay.
And we also have if we need to, because you have Mount Vernon Place and Tilly Mill there is a way in some time, not for the whole project, but at times we can use that as a temporary detour if we need to. So
Yeah.
that will help relieve some of the pressure.
Great. Thanks. You might want to stay up here, but I'll address the question to Eric. If you go around Sandy Springs, you'll see these T-Splosh project signs. They're funded by T-Splosh, your penny at work, and the name of the project in both directions, a beginning and end. I go on Spalding Drive, and it'll be years before they put in a sidewalk, but it'll show you this is a T-Splosh funded project. I know that back on the Chamblee, Dunwoody, Georgetown area, we did have some illustrations that were made on a board, which if someone was stopped or just walking, they could read it. But I'd like to see if we're going to be, like we could probably go around a ton of places if we had things that are just programmed and put them around the city. But I think it's important to let people know what we're doing, and before it's planned and they see the sign and it's upcoming, and it just gives another recognition. And then it's more accountability to say, well, this is your penny sales tax at work, and here's our SPLOST website or something. Is there any, are we going to be putting any signage informing the community about that project on site?
Yes, yeah. We did the Spalding Chamblee Dunwoody project had one of those a SPLOST sign out there during construction. So yes, we will do that.
All right.
And we'll work closer, I mean, with our communications department. We can have more online as well. It's all, some communities, they put tons of those up. I know Dunwoody historically has just not, done as many of those type of signs. We can certainly do whatever is the pleasure of the council. And, but I'll get with Jennifer and Michael, we'll come up with a plan along with Jay. He's got that on his list, I know. So we'll work on that. Thank
Okay,
you.
thanks. And then thanks. This is more of just a higher level conversation. I think it's great, all the momentum that's moving forward, the discussion items. We have a lot of work on the Public Works team. They have a lot of workload with all these capital projects, let alone ongoing maintenance, let alone reacting to storms and so on, and our stormwater and paving and everything else. And I know over the years we have expanded headcount in Public Works and moving people from contract to employee, and I appreciate all that. I would just want to say, although we're not at a retreat, not right now, we're not looking at staffing overall, but I would like to make sure that, look, it's great that we're doing these projects and we're building these capital projects out. I'd also want to make sure that our safe streets is not forgotten, that we did choose not to renew that Safe Street position last year, and it could be more of a hybrid, that we kind of keep that moving forward, right? We've got things that Jonathan DeJoy had presented in June of last year that I thought were going to be done by the end of last year, just some small low-hanging fruit things. But I would just, again, this is more of a conversation for future, but I'd appreciate that consideration to look at that role in more of an outreach and a two-way flow between the city and the citizens. But anyway, thank you, Eric. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? So, John, was that all you had? You finished, right? Yeah.
Yes, that was it. Thank you.
Okay. So I wanted to start by commending our police department for their response on last Saturday night's fire at Dunwoody Village. Our officers were the first on the scene. They were the ones knocking on doors. I got a note today from one of the residents. The fire started at one corner of the building, and the people at the other corner would have not at all been aware that something was happening had someone not knocked on the door. And I commend our team, and they also got trapped there right along with me. My husband and I came over, I don't know, like a few minutes after I heard the conditions that DeKalb Fire was working in were pretty horrific. It was, I mean, it could have been much worse, but it was cold, really cold. The water was freezing on contact. There's a picture out there if you haven't seen it. I think WSB has it of a fireman whose helmet is encased in ice with icicles hanging down. It was very cold and it was not a little wind. It was a huge amount of wind when this fire started. We are, like I said, I've already been in communication with DeKalb County. We need to get to the root of this water issue again. And but I will say that as bad as it was and how tragic it is, those families lost everything. There are two things. One, most importantly, there were no injuries. There was no loss of life. Even the pets got out. And it's because of the rapid response of our police department and the firemen who went in the building and made sure everybody was out. And then also the community response to these families losing everything has been such a glimmer of bright light. Many thousands of dollars has been raised. We asked people to email the management of the apartment complex if they had donations of items people would need, and she stopped counting at 75 emails. I think that I know from speaking to the victims that they have been overwhelmed by our community's generosity, and for that, I am incredibly grateful. I also want to shout out our public safety people, our police department, and our communications team for the great efforts around the storms that were not in terms of communication and readiness. We were ready, Public Works too. And we got a great compliment for how quickly one of our Public Works crews responded to a tree down. Now, it was the only tree down and two storms, but it was a great response and the neighbors were so grateful to not get trapped on their street. And it's always nice to get good praise. And so good job, everyone. And we will stay on this situation at Dunwoody Village. Michael Smith, can you do us a favor, please? It sounds like something is going very wrong where they're doing the utility project and the water replacement project on Dunwoody Club. And today the directions had people going onto Bent Creek. Is that the name of a street? That also was closed. Yes, and so could you please reach out to DeKalb County? You can CC me if you need to, because I can go to the CEO, but something's got to change. Thank you.
And I addressed this with the city staff earlier in the week, Monday, when it
It was
started.
still happening, I guess, today.
Well, the other
Oh,
problem
today is Monday,
Monday.
a week ago.
Thursday, the project started closing down Dunwoody Club. The other problem I think today, from what I saw on social media, was Spalding, Bolton County was doing work too, so it was a double whammy.
Or is it Georgia Power?
I don't know.
Okay,
It was in Fulton County.
Right, it was on Sandy Springs side. So if we could just see if we could use our GPS potentially to help the cab figure out, and also I think it's maybe Georgia Power because they're doing a big utility replacement on Spalding in that area. So thank you, Michael. With that, we are done with that. Eric, we're done. Okay, everybody else? Excuse me, this will be a child. Now we are on to the consent agenda. We have two board appointees. I don't know if they're here. Is John Hallen here or Michael Mendoza? Okay, well, they would recognize them if they were here. Does anybody have any questions? It's an action item.
Move to approve.
Moved by John,
Second.
second by Rob. Any questions?
Just want to say thank you. Great resumes you're getting. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Seeing no further discussion, I call the question. All in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, that passes unanimously. Thank you.
One quick comment. Will somebody be reaching out to Michael Mendoza?
Yes, they'll both be
Thursday?
reached out. Oh, yeah, somebody probably ought to let them know quickly. There's a meeting on Thursday.
The next item on the agenda is an ordinance to amend chapter 22 of the City of Dunwoody Code of Ordinances to prohibit burning of yard waste.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. This is second read for this ordinance. First read was 2 weeks ago. You all had plenty of comments, and we heard you. The ordinance changed pretty substantially. The scope was reduced, as you all have it in front of you. And it's up on the screen. So like instead of having this longer text amendment that you all had seen, it's now a much shorter one, just a sentence that says burning of yard waste is prohibited, and then an explainer what's included as part of this. And then a second item, I think Councilman Seconder had mentioned it, to give us time to communicate this change, effective date of May 1st. So on May 1st, the Georgia EPD burn ban starts anyway. So this gets us through that season and gives us time through the summer to communicate this change with the residents of the city to make sure that we're not entrapping anyone. With this, if you all have any questions, I can answer those.
I have questions. Catherine.
Well, I wasn't here at the last meeting.
Yep.
What are the other cities doing around us with regard to yard waste?
So this is generally prohibited in most cities. We looked at several other ones, including Sandy Springs, Roswell, Alpharetta, Brookhaven, and it is prohibited in most of those. I think it's prohibited in DeKalb County now as well. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Just so you know, when we became a city, it was not prohibited in DeKalb County. So therefore, when they changed it, we didn't change it. Anybody else? This is an action item.
Move to approve.
Moved by Joe.
Second.
Second by John. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So that passes 6-1. Sharon, I don't know if it was Councilwoman Harris who voted against it. Thank you.
The next item under business is the 2026 paving contract with Blunt Construction. Michael Smith.
Good evening. The only update from the last meeting is we added the 26 through 28 map. That's the last bit of the recommended streets from the last time we did a survey. You can fairly well assume that any street that's not shown as previously paved or being paved in 26 through 28 would be in the last year of the 2020 or the 20-year plan. Maybe with a few exceptions, but so that the map should show you what we're planning the next 3 years plus what's left after that. So I'll answer any questions you have.
Catherine, I'm looking for something.
Michael, for Jet Ferry, I thought we talked about taking it off this plan, and then I don't understand from what you've written if you're going to put in the bike lanes. Is that what is going to happen?
Yes, yeah, Jet Ferry was moved from 25 to 26, and then we talked at the last meeting about that we can put a climbing lane on the southbound side of Jet Ferry.
Okay, and then for Shanley Dunwoody, there is a bike lane. Are you gonna keep the bike lane? It just talked about having a separated bike lane.
Yeah, well, there's not a bike lane on that section now, and based on the discussion at the last meeting, we talked about just narrowing the lanes and whatever's left outside of the white lines. It won't be marked as a bike lane, but in some places there'll be more space than others as far as being a rideable shoulder, I guess.
Okay, I misunderstood where I was thinking of. I was thinking of Roberts.
Yeah,
but
right.
I think that Shanley Dunwoody going up, yeah, just the white line, I think is much better than nothing.
Right.
All right, thank you.
Joe.
I'll just make a comment. Was it just last week we were talking about the North Peachtree sidewalks as well, and we have a lot of we have unlimited priorities and limited funds. And I'll just say, I mean, look, I've got a little less than 2 years on my current term, but we gotta kind of come up with this idea that it's not, I'm not afraid to say it's a mode shift where we can say if we make it safer for people to walk or ride their bikes, and build that out, then we can have less traffic on our streets. But just a 3 or 4% reduction in traffic in the morning substantially reduces congestion. And so for me, I'm going to just give a mulligan, and I apologize for years past, but I'm the next year around 2027 budget, we have to change the way it is. If we did a promise in 2008 that XYZ, and guess what? We have demands now, and every 10 years we have a turnover of our citizens about 40%. And we need to make sure we're reflected of those people that have moved here as well as the people that have lived here since 1970. But I really am sitting in the back end saying, yeah, we're going to spend this from penny sales tax SPLOST, and we're going to LMIG funding to do this. And this is what we've been doing. But for me, I'm just preempting here for 2027 for getting paving for the, if it's sidewalks, I'll say, I'm sorry, we can defer a few streets because it's safety, and we're going to put in some sidewalks and reallocate that. I'm just 1 of 7, but I'm just going to keep that out there so people understand when we start talking for the 27 and 28 budgets to make sure that we're not cutting out any projects that are already in the CIP. We're still moving forward with that, but funding is limited, and that's just what I'm saying. I'm just 1 of 7. Thank you.
Go ahead, Rob.
Given that it's only been 2 weeks, I doubt anything has happened, but there was some talk in the last meeting about trying to coordinate with the county because they're going to be working on Chamblee Dunwoody and paving part of that road to make sure we get a Dunwoody quality paving job instead of a DeKalb County quality paving job. Any progress? I'm guessing nothing's happened because it's been 2 weeks, but I just want to bring that up is that ideally we figure out a way to make sure that that's paved nicely to match our needs. And that also to the question about bike lanes, because there's a lot of uncertainty with that, it's very difficult to do anything with bike lanes beyond keeping the crown and just trying to narrow the lane. So
I'm talking, I believe we're talking about white solid
yes, yeah.
lines on the
So
inside.
there had been some talk, if you shift the center line, you could put actual bike lanes in, but without knowing what the county is going to do, it's too difficult to try to figure out.
What the county's gonna do with the water project?
Well, because they're going to be paving, and so we would have to repave their paved work to shift the center line of the road. If to try to put in an actual bike lane instead of just narrowing the road. So since you were right at the last meeting, that was aside. Anyway, I just wanted to know if you'd heard anything from the county.
No, not yet, but I mean, even if they end up paving it for whatever reason, we will make sure to have somebody out there inspecting it.
I have a question about the streets that are not in 26 that I'm hearing are not in very good shape. I won't. Are we maintaining, like, are we going down the streets that have not been paved and checking regularly for issues and repairing them? Or what's our plan like on Happy Hollow?
I mean, we do drive it occasionally. I know it is, it does need to be paved as soon as we can pave it. The reason right now it's that one specifically is in 28 is because we're trying to get the sidewalk project done before we pave because we're putting in new curb. But yes, I mean, we're aware of the conditions of the streets that.
Is there anything we can do? I just get a lot of complaints on that one. Is there anything we can do in the meantime? Can we do big patching or something?
We
I don't
could
know.
do some patching. I actually drove it last week, at least part of it, and I'm not aware of any potholes out there, but it is kind of rough riding, but I'm not aware of any potholes out there, but we can take a look at it and see if there's any patching that needs to be done.
And when does the sidewalk project start?
As soon as we can get all the easements, which
Okay.
we're working on now.
Okay. And that's just a sidewalk, right? That's not what we're putting there yet. Okay, great. And I know people are waiting for that too, so I get it. All right, anybody else?
Len?
Yes, John, sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. 2 questions, if I may. Michael, can you confirm the 2028, when we're done with what's planned, will that then close out the entire paving list from incorporation?
No, the 20th year is actually 2029. We only are showing it through 2028 because that's based, when we did the last ratings, it projected out 5 years, which was 2028. So right now we're just showing that, but next year when we present it, we'll add the 20th year to show what we're planning in that year. But if you look at the map, the ones that are, I think it's kind of a gray color or there's no color to it at all. Those are the ones that have not been paved yet. I know like Happy Hollow's on the list. Glen Rich Drive, I think, is one of them.
Village Creek.
Right. So I think it's safe to assume that a lot of those will be in 2029. There's a newer neighborhood on Vermac that the streets are only probably 10 or 12 years old. So we'll probably look at the condition of those in a couple of years and see if they really need to be paved. But most everything else on there will be in the 20th year.
All right, one final question. Looking at North Georgia Way, which actually is inside Brook Run Park, is that a public street that's open to access, or is that part of the zip lining? Am I allowed to drive on that, or what's the status of that? Are we paving that? And I know at the end of that there used to be storage heaps that for maintenance facility stuff, and now that we have a maintenance facility, what's happening on North Georgia Way that we're paving it? What's changing?
I think you can drive on that all the way to where the fenced in area is at the end of that road. And so, a few years ago, we paved the other, I think, South Georgia Way through the park. And so the Cab Drive and North Georgia Way, I think, are the only two areas of the park left that haven't been paved. So we just put those on the list because we'll be doing some other paving in that area that year. But it is public access down to the gate. Yeah.
All right, I just remember there was maintenance.
Wait, sorry, John.
Go ahead.
We couldn't hear
To the
Rachel.
gate.
To the gate of what?
At the end of the road where we have some material stored past Treetop.
Okay, but Treetop, I thought they blocked the road. I thought their ticket admission booth blocks the road, but maybe I'm thinking of a different road.
Yes, there's the no through access sign right before you get to their, what we call the trailer.
Right.
That is only open to like operations staff and Treetop.
So it's not a public road after
Not
that
that little
point.
bit that goes back to our storage, no.
Okay. All right. What year was that in, Michael?
I think it's showing in 27.
It feels like something that could maybe go to 28 and you could move something around, but we don't have to decide that tonight. So,
Yeah, it's in pretty rough shape.
Okay.
That and the Cab Drive.
okay. All right. Any further questions? This is an action item.
Move to approve.
Moved by Stacy,
Second.
second by Tom. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes unanimously. Thank you. Whenever, oh, sorry, Chief, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Requesting the purchase of vehicle barricades due to the growth of our events, both public and private events. I think it's important that we get barricades to block off certain routes to prevent vehicles from what Ali said earlier, becoming a weapon. The cost is $132,385. They are portable. You can deploy them by yourself and it'll stop vehicles. So with Lemonade Days coming up, 4th of July, these events keep getting bigger and bigger, and we want to make sure we control the access in and out of these parks or in and out of these events.
Go ahead.
So I have a few
With
questions.
$132,000 and the biggest events aren't run by the city. We don't manage them. Was there any thought to asking the people, the private events to contribute?
We haven't, but that's a great idea.
I mean, and I agree that, you know, we want to keep our citizens safe, but these are not city-run events. They're, and in the case of the Arts Festival on Mother's Day, it's a private entity.
Right.
That it's a for-profit company. Just.
Right, and one thing we've looked at, if I may speak on it, on these barricades, is something that I'd ask the police to look into. And the main purpose of them is to use it for lemonade days. And if y'all notice, and we try to keep it low key, but it becomes more and more apparent every year. You know, like 4th of July, you know, we use police cars. What's sitting out there? The cars aren't there to wave to everybody. They're to block somebody from raiding into the parade or ramming with their cars. Same we do with trucks. We bring other things in. It's the reality of today's world. That's why we did it. Now, you're 100% spot on the fact that they are private events and they've done that. But from the standpoint of where I sit as city manager, I feel we need them for protection for the residents. If there's some way to research or relook at our the way we do permitting for these events and stuff and put like a public safety surcharge on there, may be the way to go. But as far as these particular barricades, we were trying to order them in time for lemonade days to help with that. But I think that you've uncovered a separate issue that's a very valid point on, you know, how we structure events.
So, oh, does somebody else? So, go ahead, Rob. So one of the things is that we should be looking at our fee structure for events. But for lemonade days and even the arts festival, I think, although this could be changed, and I think Catherine did some work around this a while ago, Councilman Lautenbacher and you, Councilman Harris, is we need to look at what we're charging and how we're charging. Security comes as a benefit of some of these large events, like that's our partnership with these organizations. How, your memo doesn't tell us where this money is coming from. What fund is it coming from?
Fund balance.
Fund balance, okay. And so I think we can look at the whole picture, whether we think, we understand how these events are put on, our community believes we are putting them all on. They absolutely think we are, each of those events are city events that the city's putting on. And in the world we live in, I'm okay with this. I think, Eric, we can look at our fee structures and what we're charging these groups and how we're charging them. And I think we've talked offline in the past about what our security agreements are. And we can probably go back and revisit that. Go ahead.
Chief, did you look into borrowing these? I imagine not everybody has an event the same day. Is it something that could be borrowed? The trailer just?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Completely portable.
How many roads did this 132,000 block?
I'll have to break down, there's 48 modules that are in
Yeah, I
there.
couldn't
So I'll
tell.
have to do a little research to see how many roads we could use
All
or
right.
block with those modules.
So if somebody's going, let's say 60 miles an hour, are these gonna stop them?
Supposed to.
Really?
Larger vehicles, tractor trailers, no, it's not. But the passenger vehicles, yes.
Okay, thanks.
And one thing I want to add too, when if you visit other cities, you'll see these, they're pretty discreet in a way, the way you'll put them up in different areas. A lot of cities have a grid system, of course. They work very well in a grid system city. When you put them up in a block intersection where they have the streets roped off for pedestrian activities. We wanted to use these, in these different events. They are somewhat, our streets are more complicated because of the nature of the terrain and different things of that nature. But we do feel that it's an element. It wouldn't eliminate just having the cars out there. That's part of the security, but it also, you can put them in different areas. Chief and Oliver have done a tremendous job researching these, and Oliver's been in touch with many of the terroristic organizations that he deals with are not anti-terroristic, I should say. Not that let me back that one up, Chief. But with those folks and they've done a lot of research on these barricades and how they work. And we do feel they work pretty well from that standpoint. And so, because y'all have seen stuff on TV in other countries where you have people rented a U-Haul, a type truck, or rented a larger truck in other countries and they'll drive it through into these things. We're trying to prevent some of that. That's what it is. It is an expense. It's a tremendous expense, frankly. It's unfortunate we have to spend our money in this fashion, but it is something we wanted to bring forward. And as he mentioned, it would come out of fund balance for this amount.
So there are, at the height of Lemonade Days there are 40,000 people at Lemonade Days. We aren't worried about, I mean, there's lots of things to worry about. I'm thrilled when Lemonade Days starts, and I'm ecstatic when it opens. The level of concerns and issues are increasing. But the park doesn't totally shut down. And it's not necessarily someone doing this on purpose, though that could happen. It's also someone doing it by accident. I see it, I mean, here all the time, people are going the wrong way on this little road that leads to City Hall. And that has few consequences. Someone making the mistake and driving into a crowd, even without violent intentions. It's, I'm sorry they cost so much, but, I happen to think and they don't go bad. It's not like we have to buy them every year. So, and we have multiple events. So anyway, that's my take. Rob, go ahead.
I just was going to piggyback on the discussion that Stacy and Eric were having, which my thought is get them now and then rent them out or attach fees. Like, see if we can recoup some of our cost over the years. I don't know what the lifespan of these is, but a little safety surcharge on permits, especially for private events. Maybe it's a little lower for nonprofits, or we comp it. We can decide that. But I certainly think it's fine to try to recoup it. But if we need it now, we need it now, and let's worry about trying to recoup some of the cost is a separate discussion.
Tom, sorry.
Yeah, Chief. Yeah. I did a little looking into this, and what I like about this is that it's easy for storage, right? It all fits on the trailer. The one officer can deploy these, which is, rather than like concrete barriers, you need heavy equipment, and where the heck you can store all that stuff. When I watched some of the videos of like them in action and stopping things, I did notice, like, if a vehicle's going full speed, unlike a concrete barrier, it's not gonna, like, there's a cushion, an absorption zone where it's gonna go an extra maybe 30, 40, 50 feet. So is that gonna be factored into how they're set up at events? Whereas, whether it's intentional or not, someone's coming full speed, that the vehicle will stop before it gets to an area where there's people.
That's a great point, sir. So if this is approved, they actually will bring it down here to us. They're going to train us. It's like an all-day event. They're going to show us how to deploy them, and those are great points, and I'm sure we'll bring those up to them, because I'm sure there's different speed or vehicles at different speeds. If it is going to push it back, 60 miles an hour opposed to 20 miles an hour. So those are great points that I can ask when they come down and train us.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. This is an action item. Does anybody else have any questions? John moved to approve.
Second.
Second by Tom. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes unanimously. Sharon.
The next item on the agenda, I will read the caption of the resolution. A resolution for temporary moratorium on its acceptance of new applications for business licenses or special use approval, permitted use approval, or building land disturbance, site plan and design review, or other permits and licenses for vape shops.
Okay, go ahead, Paul.
Yep, this item is temporary moratorium on all sorts of applications for vape shops and smoke shops at the request of Council Member Seconder. It's for 90 days to expire on May 11th, 2026. 90 days is just enough time to allow us to advertise for a public hearing from the Planning Commission and a public hearing in front of City Council. So it's the minimum that we need to create code language for this. And again, this is for all types of applications, whether it's a business license application, a building permit application, for users that are defined as vape shops, engaged predominantly in the selling of vaping products, including vapes, vaporizers, e-liquids, and/or cartridge batteries.
Mm-hmm. Any questions or discussions? This is an action item.
Paul, does this also include the hookah lounge or hookah bars that would we refer to?
No.
It does not. This is just for retail businesses.
Okay.
Go ahead, Catherine.
Why is this? Just because Joe wanted this?
That's, I mean, that's partially, I mean, a council member proposed this, so we're proposing this for discussion, for the full city council.
Business.
Introduce, so it's
For
the idea,
consideration, for consideration.
it's the idea of, do we want to set aside some type of parameters around it like we do for liquor stores, for example? Is that the analogy, Paul, you could say potentially?
That's right, and sort of where it comes from, Councilmember Lautenbacher is.
Hold on a second, let them finish. And
Sorry,
when
go
they
ahead,
finish,
finish. Sorry, go ahead.
Can you give the analogy all over, Paul, so
Give
they
the
can hear what
analogy.
you're asking, mentioning?
Yeah, and where this comes from, I mean, the analogy is sort of like that there are some uses that have externalities. You know, we're concerned about alcohol uses, we're concerned about smoking uses. We have the staff always keeps an open ear. You know, when we may hear about certain users wanting to come into town, and then we provide this up the chain pretty much, and then the city as a whole can make a decision on if they want to do something about this. This is how this came up too. You know, there's the staff learned about a business wanting to come into town, so we provided this for consideration of the city council.
So what's gonna be the end result in May then? I guess I'm unclear with that.
Right?
That depends on, I mean, this is like the starting point of a conversation to have that conversation. It could be potentially could be distance requirements, it could be restrictions on signage and advertising, it could be a restriction to certain zoning districts. We don't know yet, but we would propose something to you all.
This is just to allow a pause in case our ordinances have not kept up with the current reality of the industry. And so we're just asking for 90 days to get it through, an ordinance through. You'll get to have multiple reads. It'll go through a public vetting process.
Just to clarify.
Business item, right?
All my,
Right, because the
And then-
moratorium is a business item.
in our current code today, by right, if it's zoned, there's certain zone, then they could go in, correct?
That's correct. So if it's zoned for commercial uses, if it's zoned for retail uses, these businesses could occupy these spots as of right.
Go ahead, Rob.
Without knowing what we'll be doing, 90 days is awfully short. I don't really mind pausing things for 3 months to figure out if we want to do something, if we don't want to do something, if we do want to do something, what that is. I'm willing to entertain a 3-month pause.
Okay, we need a motion.
Madam Mayor,
Yeah, oh, sorry, John.
that's all
I
good.
forgot you were there.
It's okay. Paul, can you tell me how many vape shops we currently have in existence in the city limits?
To my knowledge, we have 0 vape
No,
shops.
there's
in-
one
in
at, there's
the
one at
city.
Winter's Chapel and
There's one.
Peeler in that shopping center.
Okay, so one,
Sorry.
yeah.
And Paul, everything that they sell at a vape shop, can they also sell that same exact stuff at any gas station or convenience store currently?
That is generally happening, yes.
Are we going to be outlawing everything that they're currently allowed to sell at gas stations and convenience stores as part of this moratorium?
No, the moratorium has an exemption because we thought of that exact problem. So the moratorium shall not apply to business selling vaping as an accessory use at a convenience store.
And any
Convenience
rule that we put in place wouldn't outlaw or change anything for the convenience stores or the gas stations.
That's correct.
So in reality,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead, John.
I think so. We're just really putting a moratorium on just for vape shops that do nothing but vape, or have a large percentage of vaping, whatever can be defined as a vape shop.
Yes.
Yeah, this is predominantly for vape shops. Yeah.
Right.
I'm not sure of the extent of the problem that we're trying to fix here, but I'm happy to hear more. We're not stopping anybody right now. Everything can still be happening. I do question sometimes what they sell at convenience stores and gas stations behind the counter. But that being said, I'm happy to hear more what happens with this discussion moving forward.
Okay. Go ahead.
Aren't we in the middle of rewriting the ordinances as is? I mean, all of them.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I would outlaw vapes, period, if I was in charge of everything. So I probably make people mad by saying that, but the more and more we learn, the less I see a reason for those to exist. So we are, but sometimes there are things that come up and some processes move faster than others. Did we have a motion yet or no? Okay, we're still talking about it. Okay. All right, this is an action item. It needs a motion.
Move to approve.
Moved by Joe,
I'll second.
second by Rob. Any further discussion or questions? Seeing none, I call the question. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Sharon, that passes 6-1. All right, was that the end of, I gotta get my agenda. All right, now we're on to discussion items. Rachel?
Good evening. So we're here for our annual renewal of our athletic agreements. Just a brief background. So each year, my rec department speaks to every organization just to see maybe what can be done with the agreement, and this is what's coming to you tonight. Brief history, Dunwoody Senior Baseball was our first partner for athletics in 2012. Since then, we've added Rush Union Soccer, the high school programs, Wildcat Soccer, and we're thrilled that these groups are able to really extend our Parks and Rec reach and reach the groups that we wouldn't be able to otherwise. Just two little changes this year, both with Dunwoody Senior Baseball. The fundraising tournaments with the new agreement would be able to be conducted between May and October 31st. Previously, this was May through July. It just helps expand so all of the tournaments aren't just in the summer, helps let the park breathe a little bit. And then again, a minor change with free play. So free play would now take place on the West Field every third weekend in June and July. This is the same rotating closure we do at our pavilions at Brook Run, Kenosha, Linwood Hollow, again, just to let the park breathe. So what that would mean is every Saturday in June and July, and then each Sunday until noon. And then in addition, we would also have every Monday in June and July as what we call free play days. And free play, as you know, is no scheduled programming. This is when the community can come out, use the space. And that's it. So our recommendation is to approve our 7 agreements for again this year with those 2 changes noted. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions? Tom?
Excuse me. Yeah, thank you, Rachel. I talked about this earlier, but I just want to officially put it on the record for tonight. So that before we vote on this, that paragraph J that deals with the free weekends, the free play on the weekends, it currently states the weekend until Sunday at noon. What I'd like that to be clarified to state when it begins as well. So every weekend beginning, whatever that is, 8 a.m. on Saturday.
7 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. Yeah.
Okay.
So adding that.
Just so that the start of what defines a week, because some people might consider Friday part of the weekend. And so just so that's clearly defined that this is what we're talking about when free play is open.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Stacy?
So I know the time period for Dunwoody Senior to have tournaments extended by 2 months. It was I disagree. That means that they can have a tournament on Labor Day weekend, all through September. Those are city fields and they're using them to fundraise. And talking with the new president of Dunwoody Senior Baseball, he said that they really just want a tournament on Columbus Day weekend in October. I find they can have that weekend and that's it. Other than that, June and July for me. I'm tired of hearing the complaints that our citizens don't have access to the fields because of pay for play, and they reap 100% of the profit. So that's where I am.
Joe?
I would echo what Stacy says. I haven't met with the new DSP person, but I had my opening saying hello, being very politely and nice, was we were to start from scratch and we were a brand new city today and we had nothing at all. Would we be putting that in as a number one priority for our citizens right now? Would we have built that out right now? And I just have to think that it's there because it was built in the 1970s. It's a legacy from DeKalb County, and it was just there, and they were grandfathered in, and they've got this lovely, awesome place. And yeah, it's really sad because when I grew up, I'm the oldest guy on council now, and we could play free play. I could get my cousins out there, my friends from the neighborhood, and we can go out to some place that had, you brought your own, what do you call them? Bases. See, I haven't played that long. Brought your own bases and you just played a pickup game and the grass was barely there, but so what? You had a great time. And then the lights, the turf, all this crap. I know we have first world problems, but yeah, I'd like to see a metrics of everybody, how many people there are Dunwoody residents using it on a daily basis, Yeah, I'm sorry. So I'd be going back to I'd be starting from zero and nobody has any agreement. I got an email from another individual that he's at-risk students looking for a soccer place, right, at Dunwoody Baptist Church, and lost the field use. I said, well, 2023, we had an opportunity for a parks bond, but it failed. And if it passed, we would have been putting in another new multi-use field over on Wildcat Park on Roberts. It's too bad that 1,200 people difference said no. If we had 1,300 people more show up, we would have had money to build that, right? So again, I know we have limited funds, but is that a priority of having exclusive use of a private group? When I thought Dunwoody seniors, I literally thought it was senior citizens. I really did. I thought it was a pickup game for just adults and not just these. All right, so there I'm off my soapbox, but there you go. Thank you.
Catherine.
Rachel, this is the starting January 1st agreement for all these agencies, and it is certainly February.
Yes.
Why is that?
There's always a lot of discussion each year with these to balance the community need, the recreation need, and then the organization need. It took a little bit longer this year. I apologize for that.
I would love to see January 1 contracts before January 1st, if possible.
It is. Understood.
Anybody else?
Yeah. So
Stacey.
when you say there's a lot of discussion about the organizations, none of the other organization except Dunwoody Senior had any changes, correct?
Correct.
So really it's Dunwoody Senior that has been holding up this process.
Dunwoody Senior was the only group that had requested changes.
So, and again, I go back to, we extended their tournament time by 3 months, August, September, October. So they can run perfect game tournaments, all those 3 months.
So what you're asking Rachel to do is to leave it as is and open and allow Columbus Day, if I'm hearing you correctly.
Correct.
So we can either give consensus or we can wait and amend it when we vote on it, because this is just a discussion item, right?
The GSB president is here if he wanted to defend.
I'm gonna say, I think it's worth getting input.
Okay, so we'll do it.
GSB.
Okay, so we'll do it in 2 weeks. We'll get in, everybody has 2 weeks to get input. My concern with every field we have, so that nobody takes it personally, is that we are potentially overscheduling them. And I think it's fine that adults are playing soccer at 9 o'clock at night. I think that's fine. I think a lot of adults have to get kids to bed and may work late or have long commutes, and I think that's fine. I don't quite understand why there's only free play in June and July. Am I missing something? I mean, I'm sure we've talked about it, but am I missing something? Why is there no free play in April when the weather's good?
So this was something we started talking about last year. Again, to just currently free play is sort of hit and miss, if you will, whereas this, it really follows what we do at the pavilion. So at Brook Run, the fields and the pavilion are open. We
But
don't.
that's
have
once a
anything.
month year round.
So with
It's
the
12 month a
the
year.
pavilions are every month.
Right, that's what I'm
That's what
saying.
started it. Yeah, so summer is primarily when we see our tournaments, so it gives the chance park to breathe without having tournaments every single weekend is where this came from.
Okay, so does that mean there's no free play in April?
There is, it's just
Okay,
not
it's just not as scheduled.
as-
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so my concern is multifaceted on the use of all our facilities. And Eric, I think that maybe, because I've got 2 years left, that maybe 26 is our year of analysis on how much our fields are used, what cost it long-term is it costing, so that we can make sure that the fees we're charging, that we're not undercharging. And then in terms of the tournaments, we can gather more information and talk about it in 2 weeks. I'm not a big fan of time. So it used to be, and I have my meeting with the new president later this week, but as I understand it, the company that puts on the tournament, someone help me with their name.
Perfect Game.
Perfect Game, that they used to be people that really traveled. But from what I understand about Metro Atlanta, it is people that travel, but they travel from within Metro Atlanta. And I don't know that they're creating the number of hotel nights, and I'm not sure they ever created the number of hotel nights in Dunwoody that led to any significant revenue. But, so I am friends with mayors across, well, the country, but in the state of Georgia, and that are in places where everyone has to travel to the tournaments, and they have built unbelievable athletic facilities with their hotel motel tax dollars because everyone has to spend the night. And I'm not 100% sure that's what's happening with Perfect Game tournaments in Metro Atlanta. And so it's just another thing to think about, but we'll talk about it. Okay, I think you're next.
Madam Mayor, if I may.
Oh, John, I'm sorry.
It's all right. One quick question. Rachel just mentioned that the pavilions and fields have free play, and I want to make sure that I understand what's happening for free play on the turf fields, the soccer fields. Are they also free play as well currently, or are they do they not have free play? Explain the difference, if you may.
Sure. So the free play on the multi-use fields are not as scheduled, only because we have more openings, just based on the programming use out there.
Okay, so there's an open free play an awful lot, and
There
but people don't know when that is. Is there a way to schedule it so that so we can have people all go out there and use it? I'm just trying to understand how we're scheduling Brook Run's baseball fields, but we're not scheduling the soccer fields.
So with both the baseball and the multi-use, a weekly schedule is posted both online and at the kiosks at the field. So somebody coming up to the field can see what's scheduled and what's not.
Rachel, I thought that last year when we went to the third weekend to match for the baseball fields to match the pavilions, that we also matched the multi-use fields, so that the third weekend there was nothing scheduled in the park.
There usually isn't any. It's probably in writing now. There usually isn't because Rush Union is done.
It's right.
Yeah.
But I mean, the idea was that everything was that was going to be the same. The multi-use fields were third weekend, the pavilions third weekend, like the park is breathing and happy and free roaming children.
Is there any reason why we shouldn't put that same agreement that we're putting in the Dunwoody Senior Baseball for free play into let's say the Rush Union or others that use the soccer or the multi-use?
I'll look at the language. If it's not, I believe we added that last year, so I apologize. I don't have that memorized, but I'll double check. Make sure.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you. All right, you're up again.
All right. So on the note of usage at the fields, so we contracted Advanced Sports Group. They're a partner with Shaw Turf, who has put our turf in at Brook Run initially. Very familiar with our projects. Because we're getting on in years with both fields, we just wanted to kind of do a touch base, make sure we're in line. Any big maintenance repairs, we want to catch them now. Versus having a big overhaul on the fields in the future. So what they did, excuse me, they came out, they assessed all the fields. They were able to identify a few areas, mostly infill, kind of wear and tear on your high traffic areas, so your batter's boxes, catcher's boxes, seam repairs. Everything they identified is normal wear and tear based on our programming use and the types of group that we have using the field. Their excuse me. Sorry. Turn my throat. So what they've suggested we have for a list of repairs, again, is mostly infill. They did what's called a GMAX report, which checks the like shock absorption of the turf and the infill. They've given us an estimate. It's about $79,000. Of course, we're going to add some contingency in there because there were a couple additional things I wanted to look at. But funding between the two fields would be about $88,000. This does cover both multi-use fields and both baseball fields for the repairs to help extend the life of these fields that we use all the time. And we would be paying for this out of SPLOST 2, which is that new Parks Green Space Recreation GL that we've been using. Sorry.
All right, is there any questions or comments, concerns? Go ahead.
So I know when we started the athletic usage agreements and started, having the organizations pay, we always put it into what we said was a sinking fund. In my mind, there's like a little pot somewhere that there's money in. So, but we don't have to use it. Does that pot really exist?
It does. And I forget, I actually asked Richard this. It's used, you might have to help me, Richard, forget what you told me. For minor repairs like this, it would be used, this is the right way to use it, whereas the sinking fund is for a large overhaul, is my understanding. He's nodding, yes.
Okay. Also, the third weekend is in the rest union agreement.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else have questions? Can this go on consent? Okay, consent.
Okay.
All right, you're still here.
Last one. Okay. So again, and looking at maintenance, currently we lay pine straw a couple times a year. The company we were using uses a proprietary blend of almost like a spray, I would call it, to maintain the color. Over the years, we've slowly added locations. Our price has gone up, so we worked with purchasing. We put out a formal solicitation just to make sure we were in line. We actually got a different group back, Mariana Premier Group, DBA Ed Castro, who's done some other projects with us. Excuse me. They were the low bid for the locations we have identified. There's 11 in total, mostly parks. There's a couple with Public Works. The cost that Ed Castro gave us is significantly lower than what we were spending, which is great. So what we've recommended is that we move forward with the Ed Castro Mariana Premier Group, a multi-year contract, 3-year contract with an option of a 12-month extension, not to exceed $38,826 per year. Again, substantially lower than what we were spending. But I would like to note that this is just our longleaf traditional pine straw. This will not have the colorant added to it because that's what was giving us the increased cost. With that, I'll answer any questions.
Catherine.
Have we used Mariani before?
We have Ed Castro's worked with us over the years on Public Works projects. Called the references or they've all checked out.
Okay, and I don't understand maintenance requirements. Install pine straw should be maintained to ensure full coverage, reapplication or use of color spray permitted. Are they telling us what to do? Is that what that is?
We specify that based on what we're currently using. That way, everything is laid properly.
Okay.
What we don't want is for someone to dump a bunch of pine straw, have it on the sidewalk or where it's not supposed to be. So just very specific parameters around aesthetic once it's complete and what they can and can't use.
Okay, thank you.
Len?
Hey, Rachel, I think that I've been having, we had this meeting in December and Councilman Price was there and one of the reps from the Sustainability Committee to talk about a lot of different things. native landscaping, landscape policy, partnering with CID. I had reviewed back in 2011, we have this landscape policy that was adopted. There's a 2011 landscaping policy that was done for the Green Cities ARC Communities Checklist. And in there, one of the things, Eric, it refers to the Director of Sustainability. And it says that they're supposed to be working with department heads, making sure they're aware and educated about the landscaping policy. I don't know who that is. I'd be curious to know if we can have a follow-up and identify and know who that is and that they're doing that. One of the things it talks about in a landscaping policy, it talks about strive to produce and install mulch and compost from plant debris located on site. Have we ever done that in your tenure with the city that you are aware of?
In lieu of pine straw?
I don't know if it would be in lieu of, but just, what are the options, right? So, yeah, do we do that? Are we keeping mulch and trying to do, stuff, let everything kind of do that instead of having to buy the pine straw?
So primarily, in terms of like compost or things like that, we always bulk up whenever we have a planting, again, just to let the new plants take root. We've worked with the Dunwoody Community Garden periodically because they have a little bit of composting they're able to do, and that's what they use across the garden plots, but that's a much smaller scale. Yeah.
Right, fine. And I appreciate not having some kind of a coloring spray because who knows if it's proprietary chemical, who knows what's really in that chemical, So, okay. Just as an aside, right, we're still having these background conversations leading through sustainability committee and stuff about, looking at some things to work with PCID and looking at some selected areas of doing some little pilot areas for some native things and pollinators and all that good stuff. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else in the oh, John, sorry, I saw your hand go up this time.
That's okay. Rachel, a few months back, there was a action item or something to put on the agenda regarding the spray that would go on pine straw. I believe it might have been not colorant, but a glue. Have we ever sprayed the pine straw with a glue, like a watered down Elmer's glue that locks the pine straw in place? It's still water permeable, it dries clear, and therefore we don't have to pine straw areas that get blown with a blower or get trampled. Have we looked at a glue aspect, not colorant, but a glue to lock the pine straw in place?
So my understanding is that proprietary solution that has the colorant in it acts as a I don't want to say glue, but it helps kind of keep every binder. Thank you. Keep everything together. It's not like a separate glue that they're spraying on.
Okay, there are glues out there. There are other binders that dry clear. That's why I'm trying to understand if we were doing it previously for just the colorant, or if we've looked at increasing. If we use that spray, would it reduce our costs when it comes to replacement pine straw for the second round that, for the year or for the maintenance?
So the group that was doing it, that has the solution, when we've added up all of the locations, we were reaching about $100,000. But they're the only ones that have that, proprietary blend. That's the only company we've ever had perform that.
All right, so it sounds like you
come out twice a year, spring and fall.
So it sounds like it was more expensive than just doing the pine straw alone and doing the maintenance and doing replace of the pine straw.
Yes.
Okay, so you've decided against it. Thank you. I just wondered what was the final option or decision for staff recommendation. So thank you.
Sure.
Go ahead, Stacy.
I guess, Eric, I have a procedural question. Since this contract is less than 50,000,
because it's multi-year.
Because it's multi-year.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
3-year.
Okay.
Okay.
There you are.
Right. Consent? Okay. Oh, go ahead,
Rachel,
Joe.
is there different, it says mulch and pine straw, or is it pine straw? Because mulch is different, when I go to Ace, it's bag, mulch, chips and stuff,
Yeah.
right?
I want to say only 1 or 2 of the locations are mulch. So like the playground at Wildcat Park, that's mulch. There's only a few locations that are mulch. There's a little bit at Georgetown, whereas everything else is predominantly pine straw. That's why we've included both. Yep.
Okay, consent? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Rachel. Michelle?
Good evening. So I'm here to represent a resolution for a commitment to provide local funding for a federal request for funding for Wonders Chapel Phase 2. So the Atlanta Regional Commission, ARC, had an open solicitation for applications where we did apply for additional funding to support the project. So we requested $800,000 in right-of-way for federal funding and 1.7 million for construction. Happy to answer any questions.
So we haven't gotten this money yet.
No, this
So
is
this is just the application.
It's part
And
of the application.
Is this how we always do applications? We always vote on me signing them before? I don't know. I didn't think I
So
would
this
know.
is just a resolution to say that the city is committed to
Okay,
the
that's fine.
funding match.
Okay. All right. Any questions?
Michelle, was the match what you just mentioned, or was there something else? Explain to me the grant versus the match. Which one is which?
So the grant would be $800,000 for the right of way is what the federal money would be, and so then there is a match of 200,000. So it's an 80-20 split. The construction is 1.7 million in federal with a $425,000 local match. So that's already money that's been budgeted because we were funding the full thing with local dollars.
Okay. So there's no new funds. We're not talking
No
about
new
any new
funds.
funds. Any further discussion or questions?
I somehow thought we were funding it with 2.2 million of federal funds based on a document that I was looking at.
That is the request would be total. It comes out to be about for construction, I think about 2.2. We already have like 1.1 million already programmed, but the ask would be around 2.2 with 1.7 in federal and 425 in the local match.
Do we have the money set aside to build this project already? Because the way it reads is any federal funds received will replace city funds that are currently needed to complete the project. Are those projected city funds, or there's a line item where that money has been stored?
There is money that has been budgeted for construction and for right of way that is part of the local dollars. And so any federal dollars we get would replace those local dollars.
So if we get no federal money, we have $2.5 million, if I'm adding these up correctly, set aside already for this project.
Yes.
Like it's funded.
Yes.
Like if we wanted to build it tomorrow, we could start.
Well, we would have to, I mean, it's funded in future years.
So there's no cash in a bank account right now.
No.
So it's a line item on a budget.
Yes.
Okay, I don't mean to quiz you, but I'm just trying to understand. Sorry, John, was that what you were asking?
Yes and no. I'm looking at a document for GDOT that was on our schedule, our agenda, December 1st, which shows a 3.5 million total, which shows some federal matching and then our local. And I'm just trying to understand how this is new and on top of what's changed, Michelle? Or is that document from December 1st to GDOT still relevant?
So that was part of probably is that a supplemental PFA that you're looking at from December?
I am scrolling up. It is supplemental agreement number 1 with the Georgia Department of Transportation for Phase 2 for the Winters Chapel path from Chermont to.
Yes. So that's for preliminary design money. So that was federal money that we received for design. So we are requesting additional dollars for right of way and construction.
Okay, it seems like a lot of money. Thank you.
So in the end of the day, Michelle, we're asking for some money. And if we get it, awesome.
Yes.
If we don't, we move on. We continue on. Thanks.
Any further questions or comments? All right, next, Michelle.
Speaking of money, so the next one is a supplemental agreement for a project framework with the Georgia Department of Transportation for North Charlottesville Road. So this is for design money. The original PFA was executed in August of 22. So that kind of outlined that $560,000 for federal, the $140,000 local match. Back in January of 25, we received $400,000 additional federal money, which required a $100,000 match. And now we have received another $400,000 in federal money, which requires another $100,000 match. Now I know it shows 350 here, but that is because of if you see the little asterisk, it was originally programmed in for the 350, but we will only need to do the $100,000 match on it. So this is approval for that supplemental PFA.
Okay, any questions? Consent, is that okay? Yeah. And on this project, because I don't know, were we keeping up with GDOT and the top end stuff and North Shallowford and what it may mean? Like if they're going to close off North Shallowford or whatever, we're paying attention, and also under the bridge at North Peachtree, we're working on all that. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. All right.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Next, you again.
Yes. So it's similar to the North Shallowford, but this is for Village Crossing. It's a supplemental agreement for the project framework agreement. So this PFA was originally executed in September of 24 for $250,000 with the $250,000 match. Back in October, I don't know if you remember, I came in with a $600,000 federal money that we were awarded with a $150,000 match. And we got another million. I think I said at that meeting that we had just found out that we had been awarded another million. And so this is the, due to some contracting delays, GDOT decided to take these two awards and combine them to one. So it would be a total of 1.6 million with the match, the 20% match.
Anybody have any questions? Rob?
Just, I guess, a procedural question, a design question. So, looking at the Village Crossing project and kind of the design as it is today, and then thinking about, for example, we had that meeting in the village last fall with suggestions on how to kind of revitalize. I've talked to residents. I've looked at the site. There's some trees we want to avoid now. There's some concerns with encroachment with the 2 turn lanes into some buildings. We still have flexibility to change the design of this project. Or what kind of flexibility do we have to change the design of this project? I guess maybe is my question.
So we still have some flexibility. I mean, we can't, it would be a lot of effort and redesign if we were to completely, start fresh. Obviously, we are a little bit past 30% plans right now. So this would be the time for us to make any minor changes. And that's why also we're going to the public meeting and to hear from, get public feedback. So this would be the time.
I get to share public feedback I've gotten, which is concerns. I mean, there's some really nice mature trees in front of the Fresh Market there. I wonder if the traffic study that led to needing the double turn lane on Mount Vernon, if the traffic flows still justify that or not. And I know that the folks in those condos there are worried. I think as long as you don't have to move the fence, they're probably okay. But if we have to move the fence, there's probably going to be a lot of concerns. And then there was also some discussion of maybe closing some entrances or adjusting some entrances into the shopping plazas based on that fall meeting. So I guess it may be worth some discussions about, we've got the meeting coming up, but I sense that there are some tweaks and changes we're going to make to that design. I just want to make sure we're factoring that in when we're requesting this money.
Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, so dovetailing with Rob, so after that public open house, you'll come back to us and kind of represent what is in the plan. Will that be on an agenda for the feedback for council?
If there is a huge change or a huge shift, we would probably bring back a concept at that point. We would have to take it back to that stage. But if not, then we would move forward and then you wouldn't see anything until a construction agreement was presented.
So it sounds to me like, and I'll defer to the mayor and others, that potentially we need to interject ourselves into the process and ask for it to be presented to council for feedback if
I think
necessary.
we're gonna talk about it at the retreat. Eric, is that right?
Village Crossroads project.
I think that's on the list of things I want to talk about.
But also do want to pause
John, I'm
and
coming.
give a big thanks for going out and seeking these grants. And thank you so
Yeah.
much to staff for coming
Yes.
out there. Additional $1 million, there's 400,000, looking for more. So again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing that. Absolutely. Thank you.
John.
Yes, thank you. Michelle, again, you sent a document to council back on October 14th. I'm sure we voted on it. It was the supplemental agreement for the Georgia Department of Transportation, the Village Crossing project. At that time, the funds that were show the total project cost being somewhere around 9.7 million, with federal matching of 6 million and our share being close to 3 million. Again, what you're presenting today, is that different, included? Explain the differences if you can.
So that was probably maybe the complete project, and this was just for design. I'm just showing you the design numbers.
Okay. And as far as federal money in that original document, have we gotten confirmation that that federal money is a go?
So right now we have federal dollars. We have in our design money, we have federal dollars, and then we also have another 6 million in construction in federal dollars. So total we'll have in federal and design is 1.85 million. And then we have another 6 million of federal in construction currently.
Yeah, with our batch of about 3 million.
Yes. For construction, yes.
For construction.
Yes. And we also did request additional funds for this project, federal funds for right of way and construction also.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Chief, I think you're next.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As you know, the Dunn study that came back recommended for us to hire our public safety ambassadors. As you know, for a while now, they've been up and running. We are actually we're now currently fully staffed, training the last individual to go out on the road and help out the other three. So just to recap, I want to let you know what they do. A lot of neighborhood patrols. We're getting a lot of positive feedback that we're seeing them in the neighborhood, so they can, they're the extra eyes and ears for our officers out there. So while we're out there being proactive in reducing crime, they can direct traffic anytime we have an intersection down. They can close roads. Very instrumental, especially during our weather events, because they're in there with us. And taking reports. Reports are timely. Sometimes, just people need a basic report for lost or found property. Any type of thefts, shoplifting, harassing phone calls, anything non-critical, they're able to do that to keep our officers out on the road. They can respond to crashes, get there quicker, and they've been very helpful in our real-time crime center as well. So if they're not active events that they can respond to, they can get into the real-time crime center if needed to assist our officers that are on the road. And lastly, our special events, whether it's Lemonade Days, 4th of July. They've been doing a great job just being that force multiplier, being that extra vehicle, being that extra radio, eyes and ears for us out there. I apologize. I meant to put 2025 statistics. But they handled 532 incidents, 160 crashes, and they attended 10 of the city events. and I tell you, we've hired a really good crew with these four. Whether we're shorthanded on the road, you know, we've had 2 officers in canine training, so our staffing has been down. They've been able to come in and help. And once again, you know, pick up those non-critical incidents to keep our officers out on the road. Basic cost, I'm asking for 2 additional public safety ambassadors. So for salary and benefits, comes out to $241,500. I spoke with the city manager. There is an extra vehicle that's here in the city fleet that we can use, and to outfit that would be around $23,500. That's lights, stickers, graphics, radio, the equipment necessary for what you see. We got 2 of them out there now. That's Paul Chastain. He was a long-time volunteer. When this position came up, he definitely wanted to put in for it, and he has been doing an outstanding job. Absolutely. He's got a smile on his face all the time. You know, like I said, this is also an additional tool to help us for staff officers. We've already taken 1 of the public safety ambassadors, and she is now on the sworn side helping out. And this is just our organizational chart, just showing they fall under the night watch lieutenant, but they serve both day and night shift. So they've been overlapping. But I think these 2 additional positions would drastically help. You know, and those stats for 2025, that was just mainly 2, maybe 3, because it took us a while to get fully staffed. Now that we're fully staffed, I guarantee those statistics are going to rise. At this time, I'll take any questions you may have.
Can you talk a little bit about shoplifting? And so I learned recently from you that some stores will call 2 days after something has been stolen or a shoplifting incident. So are those the kind of things that the ambassadors answer, like they go to those calls?
Yes, ma'am.
And I saw in the city manager's report that one of your ambassadors, when it was a package theft, is like went through the videos.
Correct.
So they're doing lots of police work.
Yeah, a lot of, you know,
active.
Yeah, a lot of you know, those are the calls that our officers get tied up on, because they get there, they're off the road, you know, any critical incidents, they've got to respond from usually inside the loss prevention room. But the ambassadors are able to do that. They're able to collect that evidence, get the video, download it into our Axon, take the report. You know, there's no suspects there. We do not put them in front of anything critical, or where if a suspect could return, we don't endanger them in any way. They are highly visible. We try to make sure that they do not look like police officers. And so, yeah, that is just one of the many.
And what kind of feedback are you getting from your officers, from your people in the field?
Very positive feedback. You know, and they're listening. You know, at the same time, we're trying not to overload the ambassadors, but that's what they do. And very, very positive feedback. You know, just helping them. Like I said, it lets us be a little more proactive. It lets us, you know, the suspects are going to see. Or people that are coming in here to, you know, to commit crimes, they're going to see our officers more visible out on the road, stopping cars, stopping the crime. But not only that, these public safety ambassador vehicles, people know, they know they're not cops, but they know they got a radio. So when they see something, they can say something to us to get us to respond. So it's just, like I said, another two sets of eyes and ears out on the road to help us out.
Okay. Anybody have other questions? Joe?
So I really appreciate this. I think it's a very great cause, and that's what the citizens want to hear about, going in the neighborhoods and so on as well. By the way, when we have new businesses come in, even though we're doing rezoning and stuff, I'm like, okay, how are you going to redesign your building to eliminate to help reduce shoplifting? I don't know how you can add that as a condition, but seriously, I mean, whatever. I don't know, Eric, at our retreat, whether we're going to have a higher level conversation of all departments, staffing, citizen outreach, and so, you know, what are we looking at from a higher perspective as well? Potentially on the retreat, if we could just maybe get an update on the whole Barry Dunn report
It'll
to
be in
date.
my slides, yes, sir.
Where are we at to date? Staffing across all the departments and whatnot, or whether it's in this retreat or a special call work session, whatever. From staff, and then if you have an opportunity for council in advance, if we had ideas as well, so we can have a two-way conversation about that. So as far as budgeting goes, and I said this the last time we added some headcount to the police, which was looking at unmet headcount. They were trying to say, okay, And I'm like, well, a perfect world is that we have everybody's full, right? But do we have this, what is the budget coming from for now? And then do we, because I thought we were super, super lean on this current year 2026 budget, and there was no wiggle room at all to do anything else. And here's, earlier today, we're taking from this general fund reserve for the barriers. Now we're looking at the payroll and ongoing. So what are we looking at from the funding for this?
Existing vacancies.
Existing vacancies. Okay, so it looks like, again, 2027, are we just, again, we're lucky with the businesses being so successful to help fund these new things. So I don't know if we're gonna be able
We're
to
gonna
stay in that.
watch what the legislature does, and then we're gonna talk about public safety funding come the summer.
Right, okay. And as I'll keep on harping on, eventually I'd still like to have a conversation for that safe streets position that can help advocate for safety for streets in conjunction with Public Works, Community Development, and the Police Department. So, thank you.
Stacy?
I know one of the goals when we did the real-time crime center was eventually that we hit the 24-hour monitoring. How close are we getting, and would we get with the additional, just out of curiosity?
So we do have someone in there that's in there at least 40 hours a week. I definitely want to, this will assist with staffing that. All of the ambassadors are going to be Part 107 trained, which means they can fly our drone. They're not all trained yet, but they're on the list for our next class. So I want all of them to be able to fly the drones for us. Critical incidents, they can go in to the real-time crime center. So they're going to be working most. So yeah, these two additional positions will help with that. These positions were pretty easy to hire. There's a lot of people, a lot of citizens that look for this kind of work where they're helping their community, but they don't, have the dangers of wearing one of these, wearing a vest every day. So these were pretty. And when we filled this last one, we actually had to pick, and not a bad problem to have. And we had an influx of applications right before we closed it because we became fully staffed. So. They've been a great help. I'm glad it was recommended by Bear Down, and I appreciate y'all approving the first four. They've been a great asset to the police department.
John?
Yes, thank you, Chief. Can you tell me how the addition of these two employees would change our service delivery structure when it comes to taking reports? Back in the day, we were, I wouldn't say we were the gold standard when it comes to taking reports. We would force citizens to come to police, headquarters and file a report. Now it looks to be a little bit different. What are we doing in the sense of our service delivery, in the sense of everyday police reports, in regards to what's changed?
So the majority of the reports that we do take are here at headquarters at the police department here at City Hall. That is where the majority of the reports that we take. So it's nice having the ambassadors here at the police department. If they're at the real-time crime center, we do have a sworn officer that's in the real-time crime center. She can also take the reports as well. A lot of reports, COVID changed a lot with taking them over the phone. And we see a lot of that. But with additional staffing that's out on the roads. So right now we only have, 2 out on the road at any given time. Now we'll have 3, which means that'll just be a quicker response time so they can get out there and handle the call efficiently.
So one of the reasons I was a big fan of this position is when I talked to the people that worked at the officers that worked in our police department, one of the things they found the most frustrating was having to come in off the road to take a report, not to minimize people's problems about a lost wallet, for example, because right. So, we could have, yeah. So anyway, I see them, people come in to make reports here all the time.
Yeah, I like to have our marked vehicles out there.
Yeah.
Not in our parking lot.
Go ahead, John. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, I'm just trying to understand it. I was wondering if the ambassadors would now go to the house to take the report for the lost wallet, or what the delivery of our services. Again, we've had a model in place for a while, and it sounded like it was changing based on the addition of the ambassadors and the new tasks that they were going to be doing.
No, they will respond to the residences, businesses, anybody that needs that non-critical report taken. So yes, sir, they do go out there.
Thank you, sir.
I've always been about customer service. There's many things that we can change. We don't have to take private property accident reports, but you know what? When you get out there face to face, you take their information down, put it on an official document. it's about customer service, about serving our citizens and making sure that they have the, that's just one example. So, if they ask, if they want a report, that's in our policy. You want a report, we're going to give you a report. Regardless if a crime was committed or not, it's about serving the public. So, like I said, this is greater. This is a great asset. We'll have better response times because obviously we'll have more people, more staffing out on the roads, and just better overall. And it's just more eyes and ears for us here at the PD.
All right. Consent? Everybody okay with that? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, that concludes the business and the discussion. Public comment? Nope, nobody's here. Zach's here, but he left a card, but he couldn't, the person left. They left. City manager comments.
Yes, ma'am. We do need an executive session for real estate and for litigation.
Okay. Council comments. I just again want to, John, do you have anything?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
I again want to thank the community for their outstanding response to our neighbors in need. And with that, I need a motion for executive session for legal and real estate.
Move to adjourn to executive session for purposes of litigation and real estate.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call the question. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? John, you want us to call you or something?
Sure, you can call
Okay.
me or I can call Eric, one or the other.
Just give us a few minutes and well, somebody will call you or call Eric.
Thank you.
All right, we will be back.
We have 4 here. 5. All right. Let's make a motion.
Well, when, Sharon, are we good?
I got a quorum.
Move to adjourn?
Second.
Joe?
Yep. All right, we have motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.